We look in on planet Namek in the apex battle to end all battles. Goku versus Frieza, the galactic tyrant and the legendary Saiyan have battled all across the planet and have destroyed most of this desolate world in the battle of good and evil. However, in this battle, they have awakened something the Nameks feared worse than Frieza himself, something even more terrifying. A dark elder god-like demon in the form of an octopus and dragon, Cthulhu. Goku and Frieza are unaware of his emergence. However, as the rages on, Goku manages to use Frieza's own disc against him, cutting Frieza in half like normal. Goku then, and this time, leaves Frieza to die and flies off to his own pod and escapes planet Namek, ending up on Yardrat. However, as Frieza lays dying on the ground, a being calls out to him, telling him he can return to his full power and original form along with get the wish of immortality if Frieza just says yes. Frieza, willing to do anything to get back at Goku, shouts angrily, "Yes," but nothing happens. As the planet nears closer and closer to the end, Frieza just assumed it was his hallucinations of nearly being dead, but the giant green tendrils shoot up out of the ground and surround Frieza and grabs him and shoves him deep into planet Namek, swallowing him whole as an evil laugh bellows. We then tune into a couple months later with King Cold finding the body of his son Frieza. Cooler looks at it and scoffs, but Cold cradles his boy and immediately puts him in the stasis healing tank. Frieza, after being put in there mere minutes, Frieza emerges fully healed, bottom half and all restored. King Cold and Cooler are baffled by this and question, what in the world? How did he do that? Frieza now has a red hue where his normal white eyes would be, and shrugs, saying that, being a prodigy and all, he's the greatest in the universe. Yes, speaking of the greatest in the universe, how did he lose to a weak Saiyan? Frieza smirks that it was a lucky break. Now that he's returned, all the Saiyans are dead. All the Saiyans think he's dead, which would be a perfect time for them to come back and slaughter them all. Cooler then makes fun he's already escaped death once. What makes him think he could do it again? Frieza grabs Cooler by the neck and chokes him out, telling him calmly that he will kill Death himself if he comes looking for Frieza again. Frieza says he's been reborn with new power and they need to show the apes. No, the rest of the universe. What for? He then drops Cooler to the floor to everyone to ponder this. This is unnerving, even for Frieza. King Cold and Cooler make a note of it and grow suspicious of him. Frieza then, days later, goes on through the data logs and begins sending out signals to every Frieza Force or Cold Legion to report with them to Earth. Cooler scoffs and tells Frieza that he must be bringing an army because he's scared the Saiyan will actually kill him this time. Frieza tells him no, he just wants the whole armada to see his triumph over the Super Saiyan, and then go down in history as the strongest to ever live. Cooler remarks that he does realize that both Beerus and Majin Buu exist, right? Frieza tells Cooler that they will be his slaves when he's through with him. Cooler tells him that he's really lost his mind now. The Cold family is the most powerful family in the universe, and they mind the rules of the higher-ups. Frieza tells him that even the gods can die. If the so-called strongest family in the universe can be defeated, what's to say the gods that can't either? Cooler scoffs, then leaves the room. Frieza then hunkers down and begins spewing eggs from his mouth. 2 of them. Later that night, Frieza sneaks the eggs into King Cold and Cooler's rooms. One of the eggs spew and lunges onto King Cold's mouth, possessing him. But when Cooler's does, Cooler counters it and blasts it away. Cooler then spots Frieza and races it after him. He knew he was trying to do something suspicious. Cooler then races after him, thinking that after Father hears this, the Cold Legion will be his. But as he rounds the corner, Frieza is standing there ominously. Cooler then dives in at his brother, but as he does, he's stopped by King Cold himself. As Cooler frantically tries to tell Cold what's going on, King Cold tells him that it doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is the harvest. As he says that, he dives his hand straight into Cooler's chest, bursting out the front of him to spew blood. His body then becomes over-infested with bugs, with blue glowing lights within them. Frieza says he will be the messenger. We then look on in the day. Trunks arrived to Earth to save them from Frieza and warn them about the androids. But this time that happens, no Frieza, no nothing. Trunks hangs around and questions this and has no idea why Frieza wasn't here. Is there an alteration to the timeline? Trunks thinks to himself. As he does, they all notice a messenger, a body floating down from the sky, and it seems to have bugs leeching off the body. Trunks just assumes it's Frieza and turns Super Saiyan. He races up to cut Frieza's body. He comes to the realization he comes in for the kill and cuts quote unquote Frieza in half, but he realizes it's cooler, but the horror reeks across his face as the bugs consume Trunks and then lay waste to the planet as Cooler's bug infested body as Frieza and King Cold lands on the planet to lay waste with more insectoid creatures. Hours later, planet Earth looks frantically different than how it used to. It has gray rings of insectoid-like creatures, and the Earth itself is covered in a gray mist. However, this is also what Goku sees as his space pod lands on Earth. He lands like normal, but as he leaves the pod, nothing's the same. Goku in his Yardrat walks around the barren wasteland wondering what happened to Earth. None of this makes sense. Goku's readings from the pod never detected any of this. He can't detect any ki from here. Just a desolate world. He then sees a bright yellow-orange light in the distance. Goku then flies over and all he sees is people in clothes standing around a burned carving on the ground until Goku turns around and is bombarded by a punch from an insectoid-like people with a blue mouth and a gray body with as an army of them lunge at him. Goku then turns around and punches one of them out of fear, decapitating them instantly. Goku is shocked by this, but the army keeps on piling on, and Goku turns and begins battling them. Goku is killing them left and right and center until one of the red hooded figures motions for the people around the carvings to go and attack Goku. Warriors do. They power up and lunge at Goku. One bearing antennas, one with a sharpened arm like a blade, one with a long tail, and the rest nearly indistinguishable other than the power levels. They all dive in and begin battling Goku as Goku can barely hold them off, especially the one with the tail. Goku immediately turns Super Saiyan and goes after the one with the tail and stomps him into the ground, sending him flying across the landscape, which weakens the parasite enough to show the face of the person. It's Cooler, which Goku doesn't know who he is, but notes that he looks like Frieza. Goku then turns and sends a ki blast at the other warriors, which blows back their mask or parts of their bodies, revealing who they are. The Z Warriors, Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, and the rest. And some new guy with purple hair, Trunks. Goku then turns into the hooded head honcho, ready to stop him, believing he's behind all these events. True, but that doesn't excuse what's about to happen. Goku comes soaring in at Frieza, who stands there motionless, which he is the hooded figure, by the way, as King Cold in his fifth form and a zombified Cooler will catch the punch before it connects to Frieza, and he smirks. "Dear brave monkey, ready to die," he says, as he then reveals himself and blasts Goku in the chest, sending him flying back. Frieza says that he wants his revenge, and it's fitting that the end of the Saiyan would be the end of his planet as well. Goku questions what the heck has he done to everyone? Has he done to Earth? Frieza folds his arm behind his back and chuckles. Frieza explains he wasn't the greatest fear in the universe, maybe even Beerus or Majin Buu. The greatest fear in the universe is this: an eldritch god. The Namek sealed the god Cthulhu away in the core of the planet Namek ages ago, and when they fought, they awakened the ultimate evil and the greatest fear the universe has ever known. And when Goku left Frieza for dead, Cthulhu called out for him, and from there they managed to make it to Earth. All Frieza needed was for him to exact his revenge on Goku. Cthulhu made a deal with Frieza after his essence was freed. Since he was a child when he was sealed, his power is exponentially greater now when he's returned. But Frieza had to make a deal: kill Son Goku. After that is completed, the Great Harvest will begin, and Cthulhu will rule the universe. Goku tells him that he's gone mad. Goku will defeat Frieza and make sure none of that ever happens. He'll save everyone. Frieza tells him that it's already too late. Frieza is now an eldritch avatar of Cthulhu, and his power has gone up immensely. Goku gets into fighting stance and turns Super Saiyan. Frieza cracks his neck and goes 100% buff mode and charges in. Goku and Frieza go back and forth within the carvings on Earth, and King Cold motions to Cthulhu to let the ceremony begin. Then a swirl of blue souls begins circling the sky, and around them, Goku and Frieza go back and forth, exchanging blows unlike ever before, with Frieza being impressed with his technique's instant transmission. Goku then kicks Frieza across the face and flies up into the sky, but stops before hitting the rings around the planet. Goku then powers up and shoots a Kamehameha behind him, elevating his speed and momentum, and begins to use his new technique with his fist. Goku then dives in closer and closer to Frieza, who makes a red key barrier to protect the carvings, but Goku gets smart and teleports behind Frieza, still with the momentum and his barrier, and shouts, "Dragon Fist." Frieza and Goku are surrounded by a blinding white light which blows back most of the bodies without a soul. Goku then lands, tired and hoping that was enough to take him out, and Frieza walks out of the smoke with a massive hole through his chest. He stands there with one of his arms is torn and basically turned to nothing. Goku and tells Goku that was impressive. He never thought Goku would ever be this savage against him. Frieza then turns back to Goku and telling him that technique would have killed him if he was still just a frost demon, but now he's something so much more. Frieza says the iconic line, "This isn't even my final form," and begins powering up with a green aura. He then erupts with green tendrils all around him, as this is Eldritch, Eldritch Frieza, the most powerful form of his. Goku says that his power hasn't gone up at all. He's still ahead. Frieza says he's right, but there's more to a fight than just sheer power. Frieza demonstrates this by merely flexing his fingers, and Goku's hand begins to thrive in pain. Goku is brought to his knees. He tells Goku that he hasn't done anything to him. He's simply manipulating his nerves to feel as if his arm is broken, but it wouldn't be fair to tease him with the taste of it. Frieza then kicks Goku's other arm, breaking it. Goku thrives on the ground. Frieza tells him that that's nothing he can do. Nothing he can do will save him from this. Goku notices all of the souls forming around the sky and reverts to base form and holds out his hand. Frieza picks up his hand and beats him across the field like the Hulk did to Loki in the first Avengers movie. Frieza then uses his tail to choke Goku. Frieza slaps Goku across the face and tells him that he will watch as the universe bows to his feet, and he frees Cthulhu and watches Beerus die. Goku says that Cthulhu won't let him do that. What would Cthulhu want with a weakling like Frieza? He's a god after all, and Frieza isn't. Goku then uses instant transmission and punches Frieza across the face, which Frieza is unfazed by. Frieza removes Goku's hand and tells him that he is no god, he is a devil. He punches Goku in the gut and tells him he will watch as Beerus dies after killing Goku. Goku gets furious that he can't win against as Frieza taunts him about his family and he can't save them, and he's going to end up watching them die. Goku grows furious and unlocks Super Saiyan 2 and gut-shotting Frieza, then a left hook, then a kick, and finally sending Frieza in the air and firing a Kamehameha, but Frieza dodges it. But Goku predicts this and grabs Frieza and begins to pile drive him down. But as they get closer to the ground, Frieza takes control of the trajectory and shifts Goku's head to the one where it would have crushed him, but Goku uses his own ki against Frieza and absorbs the spirit bomb he's been saving up. And it's a small one, but he absorbs it and uses it as a bomb, detonates on Frieza. Goku and Frieza wake up on an empty world. All the souls are into the soul vortex above, and Goku is paralyzed and he can't move. Frieza steps over him, telling him that no matter how much power he has, Frieza will always be beyond it, and uses his foot to snap Goku's neck, ending him. Goku's yellow Super Saiyan 2 souls absorbed into the vortex, and Frieza exclaims, "Yes, rise, Lord Cthulhu, rise." As he does, Cthulhu's massive hand lunges from the ground, holding Frieza, and turns him to dust instantly. Cthulhu is free, and he is now standing on Earth as if it is a balancing act, spreading his massive wings and diving out into the universe, ready to end Beerus's rule along with Majin Buu. The demonic eldritch god is free.